First of all, good afternoon, and I'm really delighted to welcome Donald back to Dublin here today. This, as you know, is President Tusk's third visit to Dublin in his capacity as President of the European Council, and only the second in the past 4 months. Of course, we meet regularly in Brussels, but this was a very useful opportunity for us to have an in-depth exchange, one-to-one, and also between our respective teams in advance of the next European Council meeting, which will be held in Brussels on March 22nd and March 23rd. There we'll discuss major economic issues related to jobs, growth and competitiveness, including the single market, the European semester, social Europe, and also international trade, as well as important foreign policy issues. We'll also have an exchange of views on digital taxation and on deepening economic and monetary union. And in Article 50 format, we'll discuss Brexit. As you all know, there are very significant issues for Ireland and for the European Union arising from Brexit, and we've been very active in calling for greater progress on the completion of the single market, and particularly in services, and we've pushed for a high level of ambition when it comes to the digital single market. Ireland, as a country, are strong supporters of free trade and free enterprise, and we believe that ambitious and balanced free trade agreements can bring immense benefits to our citizens and businesses, and indeed to third countries. And we see that already with Canada, Japan, South Korea and others. So I'm very happy to support Donald in his efforts to achieve a positive outcome on these and other issues. On digital taxation, there'll be discussion on that as part of the leaders' agenda in Brussels. That's a process which President Tusk initiated last year to provide a structured and regular opportunity for EU heads of state and government to exchange views collectively about the future direction of European policy. As I said before, we're committed to tax reform at a global level, and we're therefore very supportive of the OECD BEPS process. This will avoid retaliation. We don't want to see any trade wars or any tax wars, and will also ensure that we don't inadvertently hand advantages to Europe's competitors through unilateral action. It's a strong view that large companies should pay their fair share of tax. They should pay it when it's due, where it's owed, and in full. And we believe, as a principle, that company taxation should be paid where value is created, and therefore any reforms need to be evidence-based and sustainable. So from our point of view as Ireland, whether it's a digital company, whether it's a car manufacturer or an aircraft manufacturer, value is created where things are designed, marketed and made, and that's where the profits are earned, not where they're sold. Speaking about economic and monetary union, following a leaders' agenda discussion which Donald chaired back in December, Minister Donoghue published a joint paper on Tuesday along with the Nordic, Baltic and Dutch companies, our counterparts. It also outlines a number of common values with these like-minded countries to help us build a strong economic and monetary union within which open economies can trade for the benefit of their citizens and businesses. Of course, we also had an extensive discussion over lunch about Brexit, and I thank President Tusk once again for his solid and sensible leadership on this issue and his unwavering support for Ireland when it comes to our unique concerns. We spoke about the draft guidelines that he issued yesterday for the negotiations on the future relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union, and we expect to adopt these at the European Council in 2 weeks' time. I welcome the very clear message in the guidelines that we want the future EU-UK relationship to be deep, comprehensive and ambitious, while ensuring a level playing field, because fair competition and free trade must go together, and we must protect the integrity of our single market and the customs union, and we want the transition period to be smooth. Donald confirmed that the guidelines reflect the European Union's wish to continue to have a very close relationship with the United Kingdom after its departure, and that's not just on trade, but also in other really important areas, such as the fight against terrorism and international crime, security, defence, foreign affairs, aviation, and also to invite the United Kingdom to participate in EU programmes in areas such as research, innovation, education and culture. The proposal for a free trade agreement is based on what the British Prime Minister, Theresa May, has outlined to date as the United Kingdom's position. But I welcome the European Union's assurance that we enter the negotiations with an open and positive, constructive mind that will allow for a possible evolution of the UK position in the future, allowing ours to evolve as well. Of course, progress on the withdrawal agreement published last week will be important in the next phase of our work, as it translates into a legal text the principles, commitments and guarantees agreed in December in the form of a political agreement. I've always said that my preference is to avoid a hard border through a wider future relationship between the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and the European Union. And we're committed to playing our part in exploring this option or alternative specific solutions in a way that respects the structure of these negotiations. And that will, of course, require further detailed progress to be put forward by the UK government. However, we must have certainty that if a better option proves unachievable, the backstop of maintaining full alignment in Northern Ireland with those rules of the single market and customs union that apply in order to protect the North-South cooperation and avoid a hard border.